Hello, greetings, earth beings. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome once again. Welcome to July 2025, this big month that we are embarking upon. I hope you're hanging in there and keeping your light shining during these very difficult times for many, these big times of loss, change, not knowing what's coming next, all the things. We are very prepared, and also there's so much light and there's so much energy supporting this shift and change right now. I know it doesn't feel that way sometimes, but it's truly a really important time to be alive that you chose to be part of. So take your power, get through it. Don't try to pull anyone along with you. Focus on yourself, focus on your own healing, focus on your own releasing. What's holding you back? What are you attached to? It's a wild ride. I don't share a lot of personal stuff. I never have, at least with like a public place like this. I do share personal things with my close friends and those who I feel are able to receive or listen or might also need that advice. But I feel called to share a bit about a recent journey that I took, a journey of my own health, of my body. And I'm sharing this journey because maybe it will help you or inspire you or someone you know. I receive a lot of messages through my guides, through my channel, through my ceremonies with ayahuasca and other plants. I always receive messages and guidance. And while these messages I know are not coming directly from these plants or medicines, I know that they are interacting with something in me that is actually giving me the information that I already know. And that's something that I would say would be our intuition. Our intuition is our wisdom, is our guidance, is our bank of knowledge that we already have that is with us. And when we wake a piece of it up or we get a message that we just know is our truth, there's really no questioning it. We don't have to look outside to say, oh, well, I have to prove that now, because the information and the higher self is already present and there it is. So you're just uncovering it. What I'm about to tell you is something that I uncovered recently to help me and my physical body, especially, therefore help everything. So I had some health problems. I'm not going to really go into them, but basically, in a nutshell, the I've had a lot of low energy issues with parasites over time, compounded by viruses and nerve pain and a poisonous spider bite. And I've worked so much with the medicines and I've received so much healing and so much clearing. However, at this particular point, I was over the last 6 or 9 months, my nervous system was like overtaxed for various reasons. It was all given to me as a way to finally get to the bottom and heal myself. So I had an interesting reading of my blood by a naturopath, a friend of mine who also is on Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, where I live part of the year. And I went and had a session with her, and she showed me my blood under a microscope. It was so empowering. I also had a blood test at a regular hospital, and they give you all those things, and it didn't really mean much to me. But when I went and I saw my blood under a microscope, and she was able to point out different reasons for the art, literally, of the blood cells. So when you look at your blood cells, sometimes they have different formations or ways of appearing, and by looking at that, you can tell maybe what your deficiencies are in minerals, nutrients, vitamins. Also, it could tell if you've had stagnation, or it could show different heavy metals, it could show parasites. It's fascinating. So after I went and I had that done, and maybe during that session, I had the understanding that I had to take myself to do a very serious detox or a cleanse. That led me to doing some research to find the right place. I was researching these sort of detox centers, and many of them seemed to be centered around people that had serious addictions, or maybe had a lot of eating disorders, or never ate the right food, or were trying to lose weight. And none of them really seemed to fit me because I'm pretty healthy. I don't eat processed food. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I have been a vegetarian since I was in high school, so for a long time. And yeah, my system's pretty good. I do all this work with plant medicine and other kinds of healing modalities. However, I knew that there was still something to clear. So I found in my research a place in Mexico. That's a magical vortex of a place on planet Earth, but that's something I didn't even know when I found the place. I just did the research and there it was. And it's a lot more affordable to go do this kind of thing in Mexico also. But it just resonated. The place that I found, it's called Casa de la Vida. And it's a small little center run by an amazing magical woman and her assistant, and together they hold you when you're there, or held me. And you can stay for like 5 days, 7 days, 9 days, or I think as long as you want. I didn't have a whole lot of time because of my busy schedule, so I stayed for the max that I could at this time, which was for a week. And you can kind of go whenever you feel and stay until whenever. It's not like a planned retreat group, and I was the only one there. It was such a gift. So I went and I had my own beautiful room with a view of the mountain, and I spent a week there. The last meal that I had when I arrived was a bowl of papaya. And from that point on, for the next 6 days of the 7, I only had juice, which was freshly made, incredible green juices, 2 of those a day. I had some drinks that Anusha, the owner of the place, she calls cleansing drinks. They are made with psyllium husk, and she would make her in her special way with some warm apple juice. So this kind of felt like a meal. I had that 3 times a day. I also had green tea in the morning and water with lemon and aloe water, coconut water sometimes towards the end, a little shots of kombucha. But this was my diet for a week. I never felt hungry. I felt amazing. I never felt drained. I was sleeping, regularly, and I didn't have much else to do. So I was able to truly give myself the rest and rejuvenation that I needed to heal the physical body. In addition to all of that that I was ingesting, I was also releasing a lot by doing a coffee enema every day followed by what is called a colima. And I'm going to flash a picture of my office, I called it, for each of those days. So I did those for 6 of the 7 days. And that whole process between the two of those was a bit over an hour of my day every day. What was released from my body during that time, I do not know, because it's not something that you want to really dig through and look, but it was profound. I will just say it was profound. Like I said, I'm very clean. I eat well. I've done many different kinds of cleanses. I had done coffee enemas on my own, but it had been a while. But the colima, which is basically like a water colon therapy, except you don't have someone doing it for you, you do it yourself. That alone is empowering. Sitting in that office every day, doing that process was empowering, and just, yeah, I mean, I actually, during the time of doing it, I don't even think I knew the results. I just knew that what was in there was old and needed to come out. And I could feel that my issues of my health were kind of compounded on each other. Viruses and parasites, they're very sneaky. They have they attract other things. They cause a lot of odd issues, autoimmune disease being a major one. When you have something and you go to a doctor and they can't figure out what it is, or they label it as autoimmune, often the root of it can be a virus or can be a parasite. That time that you were traveling, that you got really sick, that you never thought about again because maybe you took an antibiotic. I'm speaking from experience, and got rid of the parasites. And then all of a sudden, years later, you still have all of these weird issues like bloating or lack of energy, craving sugar, you name it, or skin problems, nerve problems. All of these things, they kind of like compound onto each other. And it's really hard to get to the root of what it is. It's possible to treat all of these things, but you're just treating symptoms and not really getting at the root. This was where I found myself, and I did try so many things, and I have done parasite cleanses, which are very, very useful, which I also recommend in addition to this deep cleanse that I did. But it wasn't enough. It didn't fully um, get at everything. So after the week of this deep dive, I um, you kind of have a point of where you're refeeding, and they make you a beautiful salad and some raw food. And even when I left and the flight home, she packed me my fruit and things that I could eat. And then slowly I got back into eating my regular diet. And this was in May, so now it's been about 1.5 months since I finished, maybe a little more. And as the time has gone on, I have felt the benefit of it, like more and more and more. Things that I could not have imagined were connected. Clarity in my mind being a huge one. I always just thought, oh, I have a busy mind, an active mind, even when I'm trying to be still or meditate or channel. The mind was just trying to get in the way. Sometimes I would have a difficult time sleeping, or I'd wake up in the middle of the night and then the mind would be active. So that's probably the biggest thing that I wasn't really feeling like. I mean, I didn't even consider it, how clear my mind would be after I took myself on this process. I also have my full power energy. I don't feel tired. I don't feel exhausted. I'm able to keep up and still do all the things. I'm giving my full energy now. I have access to my full energy. Whereas before, I felt maybe I would b- burn out or be overwhelmed. It's subtle. Like it's a subtle thing having your full energy because you don't realize that you're lacking it completely. Like I actually, the energy situation had been cleared up for me some time ago, but I guess it still wasn't their full power. So now it's back even more. And I'm sleeping at night. I'm not waking up. I'm really not craving anything that's not good for my body. Like anything that's not food, which is so much of what they're telling us that we should be consuming, it's just like, no, it doesn't even have a temptation or a place right now. And if I were to consume it, I would immediately feel that it wasn't aligned. So it just feels like I am able to take in the things that are actually important and uh, and not be craving the things that are not going to be good for my health. Another important thing is like I feel now when I take my supplements, which I haven't even been taking that many supplements. I was taking so many before and I didn't really feel the effects. I think it was just like, wow, I think I need to just keep taking this stuff. But now I actually feel the effects, which led me to understand that I wasn't actually absorbing the um the nutrients or the supplements or whatever I was taking. My body was not absorbing it. Therefore, I was wasting a lot of money, a lot of time thinking, believing that all of these supplements were doing something, but I wasn't absorbing them. So now it's almost like this deep clean. And again, I can't stress how deep it was. Deep clean of the gut and then rebuild of the gut, which I have been taking probiotics ever since, which is incredibly helpful. But I also just feel like that gunk that was in the way, blocking what I needed to receive or to intake is no longer in the way. Therefore, the receptors are open and I'm able to receive nutrients from the supplements or the foods that I'm eating, which is huge. You know, I couldn't even really put that to words when I started realizing it. It's just a feeling like, wow, I'm green juice for example. It's like when you drink a green juice, it's like gold. But if you're overly toxed or not clear, those nutrients what's in all of those plants, you don't receive any of it. So that became very, very clear. Yeah. So just overall, my skin is good. I feel I feel really good. And it continues to reveal itself because, like I said, now that was May, and now we're in early July, and it's like it's getting better. And that's how I know it worked. And that's also how I can share this piece of my journey with a lot of confidence that this is something that I can truly recommend. And I'm not getting paid advertisements here. I'm just really wanting to share that piece of my journey because especially if you consider yourself a light worker, which so many of you are, especially if you're watching this, we're here on the planet for a big shift. And the message that I receive through the channel is we have to be crystal clear We have to be crystal clear to receive the light that's coming in, to receive the frequencies and the energies coming in so that we can adapt to a whole new way of being and living. And a huge part of that is our physical body needs to be able to receive that. So therefore, if we're feeling off or we're feeling out of health or out of balance, we're not going to be able to fully embrace and step into our roles um and become part of this higher way of being, of living. I do believe that our physical bodies are meant to be around much longer than they are now. You know, our typical lifespan is actually low in comparison to what I've been told or what I've been receiving. So it's like we just have to tweak our health and therefore step into a younger version of our body in that sense so that it can maintain and carry us through. It's so, so, so important. So thank you for hearing me. I'm going to put the link to Casa de la Vida in the notes of this video. And if you feel called to go there or anywhere in this way, or even do something on your own to assist in your own clearing, I support you. And yeah, the deep clean, it's like spring cleaning. I said I took spring cleaning to the next level because, you know, you can't keep putting good stuff into a non-functioning machine. You just can't receive the good stuff if there's a lot of gunk and things blocking it. So, the clearer you are, the more you will be able to receive, and the brighter of a human being you will be. And I think, yeah, there's nothing more important than that right now. So I love you, and I'm going to open the channel next. I think maybe I'll make that another video, or I'll tag it on to the end of this. So I'll take a little break. Thanks for being. Much love.